Hocevar was third. He's now fourth. Here's what happened coming off turn 3.
Yeah, just a really, really huge slide. Contact with the right rear. My goodness. That is the
roof flap. The roof flap was up on this thing.
That is the best save of the year. I think it's got to be a contender.
I mean,
I know the wall straightened him out, but seriously, man, this car is wrecked.
Look at that thing.
Yep.
He's so sideways, the roof flap deploys.
Yeah.
So the air pressure has changed so much, it is trying to keep the car on the ground. That is out of control.
And you have to wonder, you know, we don't see many right front tire failures.
Yeah.
You have to wonder if there was something that created an issue. Was there contact with the wall, maybe contact with another car in the previous lap?
Yeah, just a couple laps before this, he was top 3 wide a couple times. I think he even got pushed up into the dust. So to your point, Dale, you know, maybe ran something over, had a slow leak. You run a couple more laps and then it goes down.
On pit road, riding on board with A.J. Allmendinger. He's coming into pit road and take a look at this. He's going to hit his tire carrier. Watch this tire.
And look where the tire goes. Man! Right in the upper torso, the head area of the rear tire changer for the 88, J.P. Keeley. He's a D1 lacrosse player, so he's taken some hits before. But this right here, that is a vicious hit. In his hand, it almost looks like, and he drops the gun. You see him, he grabs the gun and gets up and finishes the stop. You want to talk about tough and athletic? Trevor.
Yeah, Richie used to be my jackman here. He's a pit coach now at Trackhouse. Said JP's rib is just a little bit sore. He's trying to catch his breath a bit. Obviously, that caught him off guard there as the tire came flying into the stall.
I mean, that's just, whew, that is some scary situation. So good to see him finish the stop and being checked on right here.
On the outside of Chris Buescher down this straightaway. And
oh, flat.
Yeah.
Tire's flat.
Another right front tire. Similar to Herbst.
I was going to say team car.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
hold it up there.
So
Hold it up there.
The emotion in his voice is he could tell that right front tire is blowing and he has there's no control. The car is going to go straight. Whichever is in front of you is what you're going to hit. And you can hear the emotion in his voice. He knows this is going to be painful. That's what you face when you come to Pocono.
Yeah, so we take a little look here. Let me see if I get my thing going. All right here. Yeah, there you go. Look at that right there. That shiny piece. This piece right here is what I'm looking at. I believe that's a part of a brake rotor. So Dale, you and I talked about this. We weren't sure if the tire went down or if it was when he stepped on the brakes, but it looks to me that the brake rotor has come apart. A flat tire is not going to explode the rotor. Now, if this would have been after he hit the wall, you know, you could be on the brakes when you hit the wall. That would break a rotor, but, you know, the cause and the effect, the brake rotor looks first, and then the third 2311 car had this conversation about brakes.
Yeah, the only good news is that our brake temps were a lot lower than theirs in practice, but we're just going to have to go to as much rear brake as you can stand.
But I'll be honest, that's not going to keep it from happening.
I don't know that. Their rotor temps were a lot higher. That's what I'm telling you. They were almost 400 degrees hot.
and we just got a report. Pit road closed, and here's Brad Keselowski.
All right, so to your point, Adam, we were going to go to a replay of the 23 because pit road was closed. A huge mistake by the 6 of Brad Keselowski, pitting, pit road closed. Trevor, mistakes you just cannot make with track position.
That's exactly right, Steve. And they called it open to Brad, and he came down pit road. Right when he got on pit road, they had called a trick play, hoist, whatever that is. And then as soon as he hit pit road and they realized it, they said 4 tires.
Oh, I mean, you're going to see some frustration. Look, confusion, frustration, head shaking, disappointment. Jeremy Bullins is beyond upset right here because all we talked about all day was strategy and qualify well, and then pit when it is closed is an instant tail of the field penalty for the 6 car. So he'll be the last car on the racetrack. It is going to be a long grind with 103 laps for the 6.
After they pitted, they thought they were just the only ones to take it to pit road. Then they realized they had a penalty. Listen into the conversation.
Not sure what happened there. There was a lot of people talking about coming.
Head down, run our race here. A good chance this comes right back to us.
Let's see what happens to the 71. No real contact here, and then it just goes down.
The right front explodes. You're wondering if another issue with the brakes. Trevor.
Yeah, Michael McDowell reported some brake shake for a couple laps there before it finally exploded. When the crew chief asked him, what was it? He said the rotor just exploded there into turn 1. Big
crash behind.
Christopher Bell involved, Shane Van Gisbergen,
Kyle
Ty
Busch.
Dillon, Kyle Busch. Caution number 5, and it comes out with just over 10 laps remaining, stage 2.
Kyle Busch in the door of the 38 just gets loose right there, and everybody trying to avoid a little contact with the right rear on the number 8. Riding on board with Christopher Bell through this corner. Kyle's going to be right in front of this. Car come around. Christopher Bell locks it down, trying not to hit this inside wall.
Got right back there?
Going to do a good job there. So what happens is this race gets closer and closer to the finish line. Everybody stops giving as much. They start taking more. Got a real good shot. Oh, the car's into the wall off of, look at everybody.
It's just follow the leader.
They're pushing so hard at this point in the race, and that dirty air, they're just coming off that turn, that wall will sneak right up on you. Yeah, this is just everybody pushing as hard as they can. Chase, a little bit of contact, no big deal. The 1, a little contact. 22 contact, 48-16.
You see Hocevar? I mean, he's the one that always lets it hang out, and he stayed just off the wall as he squeezed it up off of turn 3.
Let's see what happens to the 88.
Just gets loose right there. Out of turn 1, I believe.
Yep, Shane Van Gisbergen, last week's winner, locked into the playoffs, getting the victory at Mexico City, but it gets away from him here. Caution with 35 to go.
Brad Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins had a debate about the strategy to take there. Ultimately, Brad Keselowski wanted to stay out a little bit longer. Take a listen to the radio here.
Pit this time, Brad. Pit this time. Pit this time.
Copy this time. Flip your page. No pressure here. Tear off, please.
You sure? I can go longer, Jeremy. Losing a lot of time to the guys that have pitted. Maybe give me one more.
One more lap Brad asked for. That was one too many. Junior, you're a crew chief now, you know, so do you ever regret going against Steve on any calls?
I never went against Steve's calls. Never. This guy was the best crew chief on the pit box, best strategist I knew. I certainly wasn't going to have any better ideas than he did, but yeah, that's a tough one. Sometimes you feel like you think you've got a better idea or you know better, and it's, you know, Brad also being an owner is in a position of a little more authority to be able to help, you know, make those kind of calls.